guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be my first kind of how-to video. I have a bunch of my friends and fellow YouTubers telling me I need to do some. So something I've been doing a lot Christmas this year was ornaments. So right now I'm actually still doing ornaments, and today is the 29th of December. So I probably have around 25 to do. I did go ahead already and print them all off. The different styles, the different style of ornaments that I use. It is, one second. It is MDF board, and I do sublimation on these. So here is what they look like when you buy them. If my camera will focus. So they are double-sided, so I do put the same image on either side unless the customer asks otherwise. So I've been doing a lot of mummers ones for fellow Newfoundlanders. My husband, as you know, is a Newfoundlander and we live in Nova Scotia. So I found a lot of these images. I'm also going to be starting to build my own images as well. But these here have been selling really well. So they're just different mummers ones. So the measurements of these for them type of ornaments is 4.3 by 3.25. So it does cut off a little bit around the edge, but I make them that you don't lose a lot of the image when you press them. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is show you how I put them onto here. So bear with me a moment here. I'm actually going to be filming a few videos today because I do have some ornaments to make. I do have some mugs to make and some tumblers. So I am going to get all these in for you today, so there is content over the next few days. So if you see me in this sweater over the next few videos, that's why. So when you first get these, it does come with a film on the outside. If I could find my... I use actually my weeding tool, but I can't find my proper one, so I'll just use this one. So I normally just take a weeding tool and just to pick the cellophane or plastic that is on it. I normally just start it and then I start peeling it off. Most of the time, pretty much anything that you get that's MDF or sublimation, 99.9% of the time there is a protective on it. I know on the keychains that I make and all the different style ornaments that I've purchased, there is a film as well. It just helps protect it so that when you sublimate on it, you know, there's not going to be like weird indents or scratches or anything that the ink is going to adhere to and it not look presentable. When you do press the image on this, it does look really nice and shiny when it's done because there's no scuff marks or errors or anything like that. So I'm not going to show you every single one, of course, but what I normally do is I take this, I lay it flat, I will align the picture as best as possible so that way it doesn't cut off a whole lot, and that way it covers every inch of the ornament so you don't have any white on the outer edge. So if you look at it like that, we're only going to lose a little bit on the bottom, and it is line to line everywhere else. So what I'll do is I'll take a piece, I'll put 2 pieces of tape on it so it lays flat. So there. So when the heat press comes down on it, it won't shift or move because you don't want to cause ghosting. Also, be very careful when you put this on your heat press because if it's close to the edge of the plates, you will get ghosting or spots that will not stick flat. Normally, my heat press is 15 by 15 inches, and normally I put 3, 6, 7, 8 on at once. So I'll put them laying like this, and then for 2 rows, and then the last row I'll lay it like this, just so it's quite in the perimeter and it's not close to the edge. So I am going to go ahead and stick all these together. Sorry for the dog. Stick all these together and I will come back to you when I am ready to press. So guys, I've went ahead and I've got ready a few ornaments here that I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's done. I'll spit it out right eventually. So right now I'm heating up the press, and you're going to want your heat press at 370 for 60 seconds. So one thing I do have to say is when you are doing ornaments, if you have the temperature higher than 370, when I first started doing these, I was doing them at 385. So what can happen, and sometimes you may get a dud, and this may happen at the right temperature. So when you're sublimating your design, your heat press is going to go down on the image to be able to put it into the product. Sometimes you may on the back side get a bubbling. So sometimes you're able to sublimate over that and it will flatten back down, but sometimes it won't. If it has too much heat for too long, when you take the tape off of the back, there is a chance that it will actually peel the coating off of the MDF. So I do recommend at a medium to light pressure for 370 degrees for 60 seconds. Some people say 70. I go to the lowest. That way I get very, very little bubbling on the back. Like, not very often that it happens anymore, which is kind of good. And it does take trial and error. Every heat press is different. What my 400 degrees may be may not be the exact same as if you were to use a Cricut press. I do find for things like this, a Cricut press does work, but you have to put the right amount of pressure. And where this, you can set your own pressure, whether you want it light, medium, or a heavy pressure. It would work differently. So this here, I find I had a Cricut mug press, the 9x9, for like 2 weeks. Then I was doing too much. So if again, eventually I will show sublimation on t-shirts and also vinyl on t-shirts that I do. And with a Cricut press, if the image is bigger than a 9x9, you have to press it twice. But then you run the fear of having a crease in your image. So if anybody is starting sublimation or heat transfer vinyl or anything like that, I would recommend a bigger heat press, at least something that would be a 12x12 or bigger. Most of the time on a shirt, I'd say the average size is maybe 9 inches, depending on the size of the t-shirt you're using. But anything that's a 12x12 or bigger, you're perfect for it. You won't have any creasing in the middle or anything as long as your image is within the 12x12. And if you're using a Cricut to cut your vinyl, as big as you can cut is 11.5. Or if you had the longer mat, you can go 11.5 by like 23.5 inches, I do believe. So that's why the 15x15 is perfect for doing anything that I do. So I'm just going to sit here and wait now for this to finish heating up, and then I will show you what I do to finish the process to be able to prep it and make everything good, because this here creates a gas. When the heat goes with the ink, it creates a gas, and I'm going to show you how to protect your heat press while this is pressing. Okay guys, so my heat press is now ready. Sorry for this angle, but I wanted you to see both me and this. So what I'm going to do first is move stuff out of my way. So I do use butcher paper. Some people call it blowout paper. It just protects the ink from getting on your plates. So either on this rubber mat here or underneath on the heat element. When you use this paper, do not reuse it. For my ornaments, I do. I just always set the ornaments in the exact same place where it was previously, and I haven't had any issues with it transferring. But if you were doing sublimation on shirts, or anything else that's like a cloth fabric, like a polyester, you won't want to reuse it because some of the ink does go on the butcher paper. So I've prepared a few ornaments that I'm going to do for this video. Definitely not all of them because I can't keep up making them fast enough. So I do have, I think like 20 some coming again. So I will be making them for the next little bit. Some of them, most of them are being shipped out. So I have 6, 7 of them on here right now. Normally I put 8. They go on here comfortably, so they're within the square dimension of your press. And then I just cover them over. And I will show you guys after what I mean by blowout and how the ink comes off of the paper and goes on the butcher paper. And if you didn't have the butcher paper, then you would have an awful mess. I don't believe it's something that would wash out very well. So I'm going to start it. So yes, it wouldn't wash out very well because it is permanent. So if you happened to use it without the paper, you would probably have to throw out everything, and then that would be a waste. I have had an issue before with myself doing a blanket. I did the blanket, I reused the butcher paper on a blanket, and then it ruined a blanket because the blanket was a light pink, so it left a little bit of image. Also, another thing, when you're printing out your printer, it's always good to cut around your image because there is a chance that it could have like a black line away from your image. So just in case, to be on the safe side, it is highly recommended to cut around the image. So it is smoking a little bit. I'm not sure if that's catching up there on camera. But like I said, it creates a gas to be able to infuse to the MDF board with the sublimation coating. So I'm just going to show you guys one side because it's going to be the exact same way on the other side. And it's extremely hot, but I'm so used to touching it now. So there's what the image looks like, and it'll be right light on the paper, but it is vibrant on there when it's done. So I am going to go ahead and rip this all off and set up for the other side. Okay guys, so here I lay the rest down. And just remember that there can be trials and error when doing this. It does take a little bit to learn, but not a whole lot. I actually just made an error myself. One of the pictures I had, it cut off a little bit too much, and I will just redo it. That don't happen very often, but for some reason I couldn't find the file that I created already. So I did it again, and when I did it, I made the picture too big. That's fine. Sometimes things like that happen. So that's why just double check when you're pricing things and selling things as well. That is something that I kept really low this year, just because I was just starting out. I'm the type of person I don't want to overcharge people, but you really have to count in everything that you do use and how you use things. So that is something that I am definitely working on for next year. Things are not going to go up really high or anything, but you just need to counter in the paper you use, the ink you use, your power, so on and so forth. Of course, as I'm filming right now, my husband is getting home. So if you hear my dog, I definitely do apologize. Hopefully I can get this open before. You can hear her. She's really cute. She goes crazy when he gets home. And it's actually 10 after 4 right now. So, and then you throw this away because you guys can see there's marks. Might not be able to see that way. Let me show you this way, but you can see how the ink spreads. And then let me get these unraveled. There's always something when I want to film. There's always something around. Like last time, the first part of this video, when you heard the dog go crazy, that's because someone come to my door. So, just be a moment. So here is them done. So that's one side, and then that's the other side. So here, guys, is the bottom of the butcher paper. This is the reason why you don't want to reuse this, because the ink will transfer on your other projects. But with doing the ornaments, you sublimate one side. When you flip them over, the side's colored already and it doesn't transfer. So you can see here, either side of the ornament does not have any ghosting or any other color laid on it. So if you sit it right in the exact same spot, you'll be good. Okay, guys, so hopefully you really enjoyed this little video on how I make my sublimation ornaments. Once again, they are MDF and you can get them on Amazon. I will leave a link in the description as well. I am an Amazon affiliate, and you can go and purchase these for a great price on there. Once you click on, no matter where you are, you'll be able to see what the price is. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and catch me in my next one, because it will be on how I make tumblers.